Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me this week, I have Joe.
Hey, man.
And Jimmy.
What's up? I don't know why is it like the Budweiser thing? What's up?
Really dated.
About like 20 years
Budweiser
too
commercial.
late on that one.
Hey, you guys remember 1997? What's that?
Was it, we watched, was it in the UK Office when they started doing that?
Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds
and
right.
even
Oh,
for-
yeah, that time it works out, right?
No, I mean, it
The
would have been
aughts.
dated for that, too. I
Oh.
think that's kind of the joke.
And we're obviously, I mean, you haven't told us what show we're doing, but we're obviously not doing the UK Office since we've
Right.
already done it.
Doing Office Japan.
All
Just kidding.
right.
That'd be great. How's everybody doing?
Cool.
It's been a minute. Jimmy's been off saving the whales.
Yeah.
Did you get all the whales?
Did you get-
Yeah.
Good.
That's not very convincing. Mostly, you know.
We ate a couple, saved a couple.
Jimmy
But
didn't
you
get...
saved more than you ate. Yeah, all right.
I mean, there's still some out there, presumably, right?
There's one or two whales left in the world, yeah, I would say.
I'm sure they're fine.
Probably.
Doing good.
So I watched a new segment of the podcast is What Have You Been Watching?
Yeah. Brought to you by
What you-
Arby's.
What you watching?
Don't give them until they pay us, Joe. Don't
Yeah.
say their name.
We're watching the meats.
Brought to you by Arby's because they suck ass.
Yeah, and I never eat there.
Fuck
I
Arby's.
never get their double cheddar.
I hate their
Curly
curly fries. Yeah. I hate their three pepper sauce. It's not my favorite.
It's my least favorite. Got 'em.
Plus horsey sauce.
Yum.
What's that garbage?
It's pretty good. I watched the Bohemian Rhapsody movie yesterday.
Oh.
Huh?
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen that at all?
I've seen clips of it.
I still haven't seen it. I want to see it.
We were just sitting around and we're like, we should watch a movie. And I was like, Queen sounds like a good thing to listen to for 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a pretty okay movie. Like it's
Yeah.
just good. Like it's not, but it's just
Sure.
Queen music all the time. So you're like, this is great.
It's a good hang.
Yeah.
Crack a couple brewskis. Listen to Queen.
The only thing that's really hard to get over is Remy Malek, the guy who plays Freddie
Yeah,
Mercury.
Mhm.
They gave him like fake teeth, like fake Freddie Mercury
So
teeth,
he's
Oh, that
talking
makes
like he's got
sense.
fake teeth in his mouth. the
because
whole time.
Freddie Mercury had big teeth,
Uh-huh.
but like
Sure.
not as big as Remy Malek's fake teeth. Like they're just a little. It was about 30 minutes in.
It's
I
a
was like,
little
I have to
too
look up
much.
face pictures of Freddie Mercury just to see
Yeah.
his face.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes they're pretty good. Once he gets his like mustache, you know, like the like
Oh.
short-haired mustached Freddie Mercury,
Yeah.
like
The classic.
the classic
What you
Merc.
think of.
You know, once he gets to there, you're like, it kind of it's fine,
Yeah.
and it's not really because it's just
Doesn't
all
look like a
mustached, you
costume,
know.
yeah.
But when he doesn't have a mustache in this movie, you're like, dude, no one's teeth are that big. Like, not Freddie Mercury's teeth are not that
No one's
big.
face is like that.
Hmm.
The one clip that I saw was like it's like Freddie Mercury sitting alone in a room, like writing on a piece of paper, and it's like silent for 20 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end he goes, "That's pretty good."
What?
Like he's like writing like Killer Queen or something, and at the end he's just like, "Yeah, yeah, it's a good song."
They do.
Into that.
I mean, I don't. You know, it's a
Wow.
it's a biopic, so who knows what is
Yeah.
like accurate or.
Is it basically just about Freddie Mercury, or is it about Queen?
It's
like,
about Queen.
I want to know, do they make Brian May out to be like some sort of crazy nerd genius?
He was the.
Because he's like some sort of scientist now.
Oh, he's a guitar player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, they make him just be like a good musician.
Oh, come on.
Not really.
This is
They
sort of
keep
like
they keep-
astrophysicist now or something.
They said it. Yeah, they said it like a couple times. Like, oh, without Queen, would you be like a scientist? Like, and the other guy would be like, you'd be a dentist. And then their bass player, they'd be like, you'd be like,
Dad.
I don't know what you'd be. And he's like, I was gonna be a doctor. He's like, whatever. So it's pretty fun. They do like they
Interesting.
take all. It's called Bohemian Rhapsody, but he writes that song in like the first 45 minutes, and then they go through like We Are the Champions and like We Will Rock You and like
Mhm.
how they like wrote those songs, kind of. And then I mean, who knows if it's true?
Yeah.
Like
Right,
what
right.
it's We Will Rock You is, the like stamp clap
Yeah.
song, and they're just like, they sang with our songs one time, so why don't we just make another song that they can just totally do? And it's like, man, it's a really good
That's-
song, but
That's just
I
jock jams.
yeah, I know. We laughed about that yesterday because I was like, do you think when Queen wrote this song, they were like, now for every single college sports victory, this is what people will hear. I don't think that's what they had in mind. So,
It's like a scene that starts out and he's like, you know what? There's not enough song about butts. I really like butts.
but
You sound kind of Scottish.
I only have one accent, and it's just
I think they're like,
amalgamation
I think
of-
they're like butts.
Just that whole area, all rolled into one.
All in all, it was good. I'd say watch it.
Okay.
If you got 2
Watch
hours and 15 minutes that you don't really care about,
Yeah.
it's not wasted time, but it's not like great use of your time. But
Sure.
it's good music. So I listened to Queen today when I was at work because I was like,
Now
What?
you're just in a Queen.
Yeah. Just gonna
I'll
keep
tell you
cruising
right.
vibe.
I'm going to tell you right now. If you put headphones in and you listen to We Will Rock You and you walk down a hallway and you don't like move a little bit, you're dead inside.
You like uppercutted someone in the hallway.
I was like walking. I walked through the hall of work today and I was listening to some Queen and I was like moving. I was like,
Just
Pe-
bopping along.
I had a little. There was a swagger to my step.
People could tell you're listening to music by the way you're
That dude's
walking.
listening to Queen.
they're like, yeah. Some guy looks at me. He's like, generally, I feel like that guy's listening to podcasts, but he's definitely listening to music right now. So, speaking of that, what show are we watching, Jimmy?
Okay, well, so
Making it up right now.
first of all, Josh really threw me today by saying that we're like 3 episodes away from First and Lasties, right?
Yep.
Season 3.
Mhm.
So this is like my last shot for if it's going to like be the best of this season. What is this? Season 3?
Yeah.
So got me a little like okay.
Well, I wanted you to know that you had one
go-
more chance to pick a good show
because what if I
Yeah.
picked?
Well, I
only
feel like I've been
garbage?
picking pretty bad shows
Because the
recently,
loser-
so-
Yeah,
Because
I
of the-
mean, because
the loser of this season is off the podcast.
vote someone off.
voted off. So okay, so I'll give you I'll give you my hint is to celebrate watching this show. I brought some little tasties of some top shelf booze.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
Okay, so is it a boozy show?
I mean, we already did Frasier, I guess, so it's not sherry. I'm trying to think of what the booze is.
I feel like it's probably, just knowing Jimmy, it's probably some sort of brown liquor.
yeah.
Would be my initial guess.
What bar shows are there?
You think
Like
it's
Always Sunny.
yeah, I mean, but he would just
It's
bring
not
like
done,
I
though,
wish
right?
that
he would just
show.
bring like hams if we were watching.
Just a blend of all the shitty beers that are at the back of the fridge.
And Always Sunny's not
It's our
over.
microbrew.
Yeah. I don't know.
I said top shelf booze for a reason too.
Was Top Gun a show?
The show's called Top Shelf.
Are we watching Top Gear? Because that's over now.
Is
Top
it?
Shelf Junior.
Yeah, there's a different they picked those dudes are in some different show now. Top Shelf. What's it? So expensive booze.
It's a show about tall people.
Yikes.
That's a weird. That's a weird premise for a show. Like maybe like one documentary, like one episode of a seasonal documentary kind of thing. These are the tall people of Argentina.
It's just a BBC
Yeah.
documentary.
Nobody besides an English accented person would be able to get away with documenting like he's a very tall man compared to the village that lives next to them.
Yeah.
They're very short.
Okay, so
You
it's
got one more.
top shelf.
We don't-
It's like it's like expensive booze. So it's
I got all that.
so wealthy.
Oh.
So wealthy folks who are just drinking.
I
The
feel
live
like
long day.
I'm really mad because I know this.
Rich drunk people. Crazy drunk Asians.
Like what time period would you say before?
Is this Handmaid's
Just
Tale?
Dr-
It's not.
no,
over.
I'm pretty sure you can't drink.
Downton Abbey.
Oh man, I don't think that's streaming on anything.
I
I've been checking. It's on my list.
There's
Is
a
it-
my
specific
watch
time
list.
Is
period
it-
where people
yeah.
were drunk and rich.
Can you give us? Is it a
Yeah.
present day show
I'd
or
say
a
so.
past
No,
day show?
it's more of a period piece.
See, that helps. That helps.
Hmm.
Bourgeois period piece. Maybe not
I feel
bourgeois.
like I've been really given so many hints here.
Everyone that's watching just read the name of the show.
Is it a workplace drama in a specific industry?
Sure is. Sure
Ah.
is.
Just say I don't know it. Just say it.
It's Roseanne.
Well, maybe that speaks to like me and Josh don't know anything about Mad Men, and
Scrubs.
that's why we didn't know. What
Oh, is it Mad
had to
Men?
do with
No, Josh has
top
seen
shelf
Mad Men.
booze.
I've seen some of
Some
it.
of Mad Men.
Is it Mad Men?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good because I've always wanted to watch the end of Mad Men, but I've
Yeah.
never turned it on.
Do they have like a specific booze they drink on it, or like
brown?
brown booze?
Brown liquors. Yeah, I don't remember a specific, but there might be like.
But they're
Scotch.
constantly
I
drinking.
don't know.
Did you bring a bunch of cigarettes for us to smoke while we watched
Ooh,
this?
cigarettes I could see.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Not even candy.
I
cigs?
heard a story. I heard a story of one of our friends, and they said like while they were dating one of their ex-girlfriends, they were like watching Mad Men, and she was like, "Ugh, Don Draper's like the perfect man. Why can't you be like more like Don Draper?" And he was like, "Oh, you want me to just go ignore you all the time, go hang out with all my friends, drink, smoke, and bang other women?"
Yeah, for real.
And then he's like, "Oh wait, you just mean you want me to wear suits?"
Just
Want
be
me to
very
look like
tidy.
John Hamm in a suit.
John Hamm is a very
Yeah.
handsome man.
We all want that.
Sure.
Oh, I could have said like you said, Handmaid's Tale, and that gal is the same chicken
Yeah.
from Mad Men.
She's like Penny or something. I don't know what
Sure.
her name is. I've seen the pilot of this show.
I've never seen any of it. I've heard really good things.
So what happens
Nice.
in the pilot?
They're coming up with an ad for Coca-Cola,
Mm.
and Don comes up with the idea to like do that like hippie commercial where they're like buying the world of Coke, but he doesn't believe in hippie shit.
Yeah, I don't see him believing hippie shit.
But like he's just using that to sell Coke, and that's the premise of the show. Is like
Wait,
it's
so you
all just
think-
about
So you think
fucking
this show's in
money.
the 60s? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I mean, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna. I mean, he knew that. He
Alright.
just needed confirmation.
All right.
What else you
and,
got?
Don punches a man. Just gonna sock a
Mm.
guy because we got to see how he's tough, even though he works for an advertising agency.
I'm trying to figure out. I feel like
Ma-
someone gets fired in this episode.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but like I don't remember the deets. You know,
Yeah.
there's somebody that's new, but I forget who. Got
John.
got an idea of the position at the ad agency of the person who's new, Joe?
I
I feel like that's what happens.
There's like a new secretary, and like Don's like being creepy to her on the first day.
You mean a nice gentleman to her
Yeah, he's
for
just
the 60s,
he's just being a man, and she's being a woman.
which today would just be everyone just got fired because of what's happening or should be.
Mm.
Pretty much everything. And the one thing about this show that I've always just been like, holy buckets, is the amount of drinking and smoking that happens
Mhm.
in every single episode.
Yeah, what's the over under on cigarettes? On specifically lit cigarettes in the workplace.
At least 5. Over 5.
Over 5.
You putting the line at 5.
I mean, I could put the line at.
Yeah, that's pretty. It seems low.
It might be
Seems
low.
low because like
I mean,
you have a meeting with like 8 people. Like
That's
it's
8
not just-
cigarettes.
yeah, you're not just gonna have one person smoking. They'll just be like, "Fuck, I'll have a cigarette."
Everybody.
That seems
Yeah.
good.
No, we're doing, that's
10,
what we're doing.
let's do an over under 10.
Yeah.
Because that seems like if they had an 8-person meeting is a pretty solid number of people.
Uh-huh.
Then you got a couple
it's
other.
Also 40 some minutes, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
I don't know if that's actually 43 spent in the office, but
Over under 10.
I like 10.
I'm
I
go-
would take the under.
You take under? I'll go over.
Yeah.
So if you say under 10, you also get 10. Is that
No,
the deal?
that's a push.
Oh, sure.
I mean, Jimmy, you can have exactly 10.
It's 49 minutes. I'm going over.
Got 2 overs and 1 under. Man, I feel like it's gonna be like fucking 7.
When
I'm
did
gonna
this
be so mad.
show run?
Yeah.
How many seasons?
It's 7 seasons.
I was gonna say 6.
2007 to 2015.
Okay, cool.
Wait,
Yeah.
when did it end? 2015?
Yes. On, what was it on? Like TCM or something.
It was on AMC.
AMC. Did we
What?
say that?
Turner Classic Movies?
I was like,
Whatever the acronym. I don't know.
Yeah.
there's that dude that's from Minneapolis in the
There's a
show.
parent's guide on IMDb.
There's like a lot of people on the show, right? More than just Don Draper.
There's the red-haired girl that everyone like loved.
Yeah. There's,
January Jones.
No,
Oh, and
Isn't she-
January
she's in
Jones.
there.
January Jones. She's in X-Men.
Yeah, I just know her name because of X-Men.
Yeah.
There's Annie from The Office is in it.
The girl who plays Sabrina the Teenage Witch, on the new Netflix series. That's Don
Oh.
Draper's daughter.
Is she like a kid in this?
Yeah, she's a kid. She's Don Draper's kid daughter in this.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know if we see her in the first episode or whatever,
Oh,
but
John
she's
Slattery.
small.
She's tiny.
She's a small human. And then there's Peggy. That's the lady who's in. That's her character's name. She's in the main character in the Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
I've never seen Handmaid's Tale either.
Yeah.
There's people.
John Slattery, who is Howard Stark in the Phase 1
I
of
was-
the MCU.
I was unfortunately just gonna say that dude that plays Tony Stark's dad in the MCU.
He's Howard Stark in Ant-Man and in Civil War.
He's in it. I want to guess what
I
that.
like him.
I bet they're doing an ad too, Joe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I feel like you're right about this.
Well,
Like at least they have a meeting or they talk
should hope
specifically about running an ad for a company.
Mhm.
And you're going Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go RC Cola.
It doesn't. it doesn't have to be a cola.
I will.
But
then
I'm going
also
Pepsi.
Take, there it is. There it is.
No, I was gonna go like Lay's potato chips.
I feel like there's probably cigarettes in there, right?
Not in the first episode.
You don't think so?
No, because they're smoking all of them. Why can they can't sell them? They smoked them all.
Well, they're being true to their product.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I
They're
feel like
we
there's
like them so
probably
much.
a
We smoked them all.
product that they don't like that they're doing an ad for,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
like that they don't believe in, but they have to sell, and that's like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
John has to figure out
How
Don,
to sell
how to sell this
like
shitty
this
thing.
garbage? Yeah, this garbage product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the problems we have to solve.
Mm-hmm.
How to sell a garbage product?
That and how to bang all these ladies without my wife knowing. Is he married or at the beginning?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, all right. Living the American dream. Got some. I think there's going to be a lot of sweet cars, a lot of sweet suits.
And
a lot of-
sweet lips.
Sweet lips.
And with that, let's watch the pilot.
Winning a Don Draper.
Yes,
Beep, beep,
Jimmy.
beep, beep, beep.
Don Draper. We'll see you after
Isn't
the
that his name?
pilot of
The Don Draper Show.
of Mad Men. I forgot what show we were watching.
John Draper.
My man.
And we're back. Just watched the pilot of Mad Men. We are now all ad agency gurus. We can sell you anything. Watch first and
We're
last.
real men.
It won't kill you like cigarettes.
Like and subscribe. We're toasted.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're high or drunk or something.
Working on
We're
it.
toasted.
Yeah.
We're toasted.
Working.
But it was fun. Well, Jimmy pulls up what his read up that he obviously already has. Jimmy did a little thing for us, and he brought some yummy brown liquors for us to drink while we were watching Mad Men. So we were very Mad Men-y. He forgot to bring us 10 packs of Lucky Strike cigarettes. So.
Yeah, just inhale
Didn't realize
through.
that was on the list.
But
Yes, we had a nice 18-year-old Highland Scotch.
was this like a 21-year-old rum?
21-year-old rum from Guyana.
Look at that. This rum can drink itself.
Yeah.
It's old enough.
That's how that works.
Yeah, Joe said this rum can buy its own rum.
Yeah. This rum could walk into the store and buy rum.
It's really good rum.
It's pretty good. You got to write it for us, Jim?
Yep. Don Draper is should I say, what's the name of this? I can't remember. Don Draper is a senior creative executive for Sterling Cooper, a major Madison Avenue advertising agency. Oh, it's called Sterling Cooper. Because that guy is Roger Sterling.
And then there's another old man. His name's
old
like,
man we're yet to see.
His name's like John Cooper or something like that.
Anyway, Sterling Cooper. It's 1960, and his big challenge is coming up with a new ad campaign for a major client, a cigarette manufacturer, Lucky Strike. With increasing evidence that smoking is harmful, he has to come up with a whole new approach to selling the product. For Pete Campbell, who is about to get married, his pals at work have organized his stag party. That's a terrible sentence. So this other ad guy is about to get married. For Peggy Olson, it's her first day on the job. What she's told by her fellow secretary, Joan Holloway, is that the executives want a cross between a mother and a waitress most of the time. That's mostly pretty terrible write-up.
Yeah, I mean,
But
they were trying to do ad campaigns. It was Peggy's first day, so she was Don's, and Don's a big deal at the ad agency.
Don's one of the high ups of the.
Don the Deal Draper.
Well respected, very handsome.
He doesn't got his name on the building yet.
He looked young. Do you look?
Yeah, he
young
looks
to you
skinny.
guys?
Yeah,
Dang.
he looked like
he's filled out.
Looked like a young. I mean, he's not like fat now, but he just looks like more like a man. And like in this one, he just kind of looked like a
boy.
Like not a boy, but
young.
a young
know
man.
What else to say? Yeah.
Now he looks like a man. Then he looked like a young man.
He just looks like now he has a workout regimen, like a regular routine.
Fair enough.
He was just a handsome man then.
He's had a lot more scotch and cigarettes by now, so that's why he looks older.
Right. But he gets a new secretary, Peggy. Peggy's trying to like learn the ropes. So I mean, it bounces pretty well between Don and like Peggy. Peggy's trying to be who she thinks she should be, but also
and Peggy's a little bit naive. Or maybe not naive, because it's not like she doesn't know what she's getting into, but she's a little bit innocent compared to like this like kind of slimy Mad Men world.
Right. And then
she's starting to get into it though.
Yeah. Well, and then they have two like ad meetings. I feel like they had one ad meeting with a lady who was like there for Lucky Strike. Or was that not Lucky Strike?
No, the lady
was that different?
Runs the Jewish department store.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right, Mencken.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel Mencken.
And the pitch there was they were like, oh, we'll just like come up with like a coupon campaign, and she's like, I want to be like the fucking Chanel of department stores, and so she got pissed.
Yeah, they threw a hard J around a lot during the beginning.
Hard J.
Yeah.
They just kept saying Jews.
Yeah, they just kept saying Jews.
There's some weird Jew stuff. They found a Jewish. They just found the Jewish guy who works there, and just to have him in the meeting because Roger Sterling thought that she'd feel more comfortable with a Jew in the room, I guess.
Right. And then the other one is they had a meeting with Lucky Strike, and that was the big deal. Was everyone's like, you're gonna get cancer. So with the other guy, Pete, who's like a junior guy, a junior ad guy. He was like, hey, they hurt you. Let's just say like, yo, life's dangerous. Cigarettes are dangerous, but you gotta smoke. Right?
What are you going to do? Not smoke?
What are you, nuts?
And live?
Yeah, come on. And then Don like pulled it's toasted out of his ass.
Yeah. His pitch was more about like, since all cigarettes are made the same way and you're essentially 6 companies selling the same thing, let's just say good things about our product. And so the implication is like our product is toasted and it's natural while everyone else's is poison.
I like that the old guy that was in charge of the cigarette company when Don was like, all right, so there's 6 companies selling just the exact same thing.
Yeah.
At some point, I was like, wow, that guy didn't be like, no, our cigarettes are like better. You know,
Yeah,
I just seemed that.
yeah,
That was,
he knows.
He was just like, oh yeah, no, they're all just cigarettes. Like,
Yeah. That's why he's at like Sterling Cooper, because he's just like gotta fucking make this different than the other companies.
Right. I mean, it was a pretty good pitch. He was like, yeah, everyone knows they're gonna kill you.
They had built up to that. For the past few years, they've been trying to pitch like ideas about cigarettes not being as bad for you as people say, and like there's like a healthy type of cigarette, and ours is the healthy type of cigarette, but no one's buying it.
It almost surprised
so
me
looking for a different pitch.
if that's kind of real. You know that they started to say that cigarettes are bad for you in the 60s. I thought it would have like waited till like the 80s, 90s, like or even 90s before. It would have been like, yeah, cigarettes are bad for you. Who gives a shit? And just like no one even did research. The cigarette company was like, yeah, we funded like our own research to like prove that they're not. And it's like, that's just, you just put money somewhere and said you were doing research to like bend your propaganda the correct way.
That's
like,
just what you do, though, right?
Yeah, it's like nobody should ever
you
believe
hire your
that.
own.
Yeah, we have scientists, and they totally proved that cigarettes are safe.
Right.
Buy
a guy
our
s-
cigarettes.
We had a guy smoke cigarettes for 7 days, and he's not dead
Yeah,
yet.
Did you guys
he
think
smoked cigarettes for 7 days, and he got killed by a javelin.
he got hit by a truck?
That has nothing to do with
The-
our cigarettes.
The like younger cigarette family guy was like, Grandpa like smoked him. He lived to be 95. Like
And
he got hit by a truck.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, and his body was 100% cancer.
it's because he couldn't. It's because he couldn't run out of the way
Got
of
hit
the
by
truck.
a truck and he evaporated.
He literally burst into a puff of Lucky Strike smoke.
Just vanished like a Jedi.
Sad.
He looked at the truck and he said, whatever Obi-Wan says. And he's like,
What does he say?
I don't know. Luke,
So,
I am not your father.
did you guys see Thank You for Smoking?
Yes.
Which came out a couple years before this aired and is
Uh-huh.
basically the same exact thing.
Same exact pitch as just like,
Yeah.
because was he an
It's
ad
just
guy in that too?
misdirection. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
I
it's great.
remember liking that
It's
movie.
a great movie.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it since it like came out.
Yeah, I haven't thought of it since then.
I
Good
feel
movie
like-
though. Haven't thought about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe it makes a good movie though. Like you see it right away, you want to talk about it. Then you just like let it go. There's movies I feel like that I've watched that like if you said I'm like, oh, fuck that movie because they're like bad,
Yeah.
So maybe a good movie is just like, no, I haven't thought about it much. But when you bring it up, you go, oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Not a great movie, good movie, solid.
It's not how it works for podcasts. You listen to them every week.
There's 75 of these to listen to.
Sometimes
Keep
an
going.
episode's so good you just listen to it twice.
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
play it while you're going to sleep.
Just
Sometimes I
lol.
listen to 2 at one time, 1 in each ear.
That's way too much.
So speaking of cigarette smoking, remember when the doctor came in because Peggy went to get the birth control pill?
Yeah, I didn't know this was all on the same day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like she already had her like
Yeah.
appointment set up to
This
like
whole
go
thing.
see the doctor.
Well, I think like what's her name? What's the redhead's name?
Joan?
I think like Joan was like, we've got a new girl.
so they already set
like
up for the
she
appointment,
set up
like-
the new girl's doctor appointment
Gotcha.
She
'Cause
set up
because she was
birth
saying
control
like,
appointment.
Joan had like said to go there or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because
she
she's like,
has a guy.
well, yeah. Joan was like, "You're a secretary. You're gonna bang some of these ad dudes, so you better get on the pill." Which we can get to
And
that
she
in a
did.
second. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she goes, and the guy was like, "Oh, you're not married, so I don't know about this pill for you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't turn into a slut, or I'll take them away."
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like,
He said, "I don't want you to abuse them."
"If you
I'm just like,
abuse
what the
them,
fuck?
I'm gonna take them away from
Which,
you."
like, if he's Joan's doctor, and he like joked several times during that appointment that like Joan was a big floozy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
So
called her
she's
like
clearly abusing it.
He called her like
in his
a
terms.
schmeckle or something. I don't know what he said. He said a weird word that meant like "don't be a hoe bag." Like it was weird. But then my favorite, like Joe, you brought it up. He walked in. He like
schleckle.
before the door was like shut. He was already lighting a cigarette.
Yeah, that's fucking gross.
And like so, well, number one, he's got to use his hands,
Yeah.
and so he's got to be like, okay, let me just hold something in my mouth while I like dig around in you.
Yeah, like I didn't even have gloves or like.
No, but I love when he said like, I'd be weirded out if my doctor just had a glass of water.
Yeah, like that would be super. I would be super grossed out if like my doctor was like touching my balls and then taking a sip of water. Like it'd be like, ew, man.
Just doing it all with one hand.
Left ball, sip of water. Right ball, sip of water.
he's like eating Funyuns. I'm just like, gross, man. What are you doing?
Doc, next time I come, could you put the glass of water and Funyuns away?
Just eating a meal while during your apartment. You're totally naked.
Pulls out a sub sandwich.
It doesn't seem like the time or place.
Just, like, give me a bite at least. What are we doing?
Yeah, that was weird.
Is it Korean barbecue?
Just the pure amount of smoking and drinking in the workplace is insane.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
I stopped doing checks, but I kept doing checks of them in the workplace, and I counted 14 in the actual ad agency.
I mean, there was over 25 cigarettes smoked by separate people at separate times.
Yeah. There's at least one or two in every scene. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it was insane.
everybody's constantly smoking.
I feel, do they get the actors in the show? Did they get like special insurance from the show? Be like, hey, you're in the show for 7 years. You're probably getting lung cancer just from being on this show.
Yeah. I bet, like John Hamm.
There's no way those are real, though. They've got to be some kind of stage smoked thing, because with all that much smoke, you couldn't even like breathe if there was that much. That one scene's in an elevator.
Yeah. And they're like, they're going to be doing multiple takes, so they don't want like cigarettes to just wind down. So like,
Right.
they got to be,
It would just destroy. It would just destroy you. You wouldn't be able to like talk.
If they were just drinking actual booze. And just
Unless they were all actually just really heavy smokers and
Yeah,
drinkers.
this is a documentary, actually. It's really happened.
Makes sense.
So we get Don and those two separate pitches that he's making, Peggy and just being introduced to the world.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little bit of Pete, who is the young ad exec, who we see him in like contrast to Don, how he kind of flops a little bit in the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a part where he's like kind of just like being overly, like he's just like straight up hitting on like Peggy in front of Don, and Don's just like, hey man, cut that shit out. Not because it's wrong, but just because like you're an asshole and people don't like
you suck.
Well, yeah, he said, he was like, I know you want to like have my job, and you can get to where I'm at and like have the corner office and be good, but you're never gonna have like your name on the agency because people will think you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Like you just won't get there.
Like it's not that you can't go around
is.
and just like fuck everybody in the office. It's just you just can't be a slimeball about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, be discreet.
Please. And when he like flopped in the like ad thing, he did it while like stealing the research like out of Don's like wastebasket. So he totally went behind him. Although he was there when they were when he was like talking with like the scientist lady, right? I think Pete was in the office.
And I mean they're all supposed to be on the same side, right? Like they're
No,
like,
it wasn't Pete.
No?
It was Salvatore, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was the gay guy. We haven't even talked about him.
Well, we don't know he's gay, Jimmy.
Oh, okay. They alluded to it over and over and over and over.
I just thought he was very Italian.
They alluded and alluded.
Didn't they ask him, they go, do you have a girlfriend? And he went, I'm Italian.
Yeah, what is that even?
Yeah, I mean,
What does that mean?
trying to figure that
So
out.
he's just banging around. Can't be held down. The Italian stallion.
So.
Maybe that's what that means. I don't know. Or
Is that
maybe
Rocky?
Or maybe it's
That's
like,
Rocky.
do you have a girlfriend? I'm Italian. Oh, so you don't? I don't know.
You know how Italians can't
just-
get girlfriends.
That's just a saying in the 60s.
You know how everybody in the 60s knew that nobody would date Italians? Or everybody would date Italians? I don't know.
I was trying to figure that out both ways. Yeah.
It didn't work. It was weird. I think overall, I mean, even like Don was like a gentleman sometimes,
Yeah.
but most people, like men in this show, was basically just like a great blueprint on like how not to act as a guy in general.
I think that's kind of the idea here, is that like
Yeah.
Don really underneath is just like all these other slime balls, but he's always selling.
He like knows when to do it, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
he's always working, so he sells himself as a good dude.
Mhm.
Like there's that part where like Peggy like puts her hand on his, like kind of, and she's kind of giving a look like, I guess this is what I have to do to like get ahead. And he's like, first of all, I'm your boss, not your boyfriend, and like takes
First of
her
all,
hand away.
I'm your boyfriend, not your boss.
Let's do this.
First of all, no touching, no eye contact.
But I kind of feel like within the character of Don, like he's not necessarily doing that because he like doesn't want to get with Peggy. It's just that like it's like too soon, and like he can get Peggy anytime he wants, so he'll just like wait it out.
Or it's just like, hey, this is my secretary, so I just leave her alone, and I can do anything I want to anybody else's secretary.
Also that.
Or like I kind of assumed that he was gonna try. He went out with the Jewish lady at the end of the show,
Mencken.
Minkin, and I assumed he was gonna be hitting on her.
Maggie
but he
Seif from Sons of Anarchy.
Well, I think that was the idea. Was so she came out of the sales pitch like very upset at like what the agency had come up with for her, and so the higher up Sterling said to Don like, you got to go like take her out for a drink and go charm her. And I kind of got the impression that they'd done this before, and that like what Don does is he takes like, you know, clients or like people close to clients out and like has a drink with them, charms them, maybe bones them if it's a woman, like in this case. And I think that's what kind of they were going for, is like, hey, go seduce this woman.
He went to that fully expecting to bone her.
Yeah.
Which I think he will.
I think, yeah, probably. But I think it was a surprise to him that like he didn't have to. She said like they had a talk, and she said that she would like come back to the office on Monday.
Well, I
was surprised by that.
I think they kind of made a point to show that she was a different kind of woman to Joan, to Peggy.
She's kind of a badass.
Well, she was just like, oh, because you're a man, like and I'm a woman, that I have to do this stuff, and you get to do this stuff, and it's like weird if I.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I don't. What? Because the first thing he asked her when they were on that like dinner was like, I don't want to be offensive, but why aren't you married? Wouldn't you be happier married?
Yeah.
And she was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is basically what she said.
I think that was probably like the most like interesting scene of the episode. Because yeah, she says, well, I've never been married because I've never been in love. And he says, well, love is something that like we ad executives just made up to sell nylons. Like it's not a real thing.
Which is interesting that he said that. And he, at the end of the show, goes home to his wife and 2 kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's a weird thing too. Because like in that dinner or in that like drink with the woman, he says, you know, love's all made up, and he just like kind of lives for like today's pleasures and doesn't worry about tomorrow. And then she comes back at him and says like, you're just like a weird outsider and you don't really like feel like you fit in, and says that like, you know, he feels like people don't understand him and stuff. And then so I feel like that ties into when he comes back home and like sees his wife, and like he's like having that weird moment where he's like touching his 2 kids like on the head.
He's kneeling between the 2 beds and just touching both of his kids' heads at the same time. Like, if I make contact with everyone in my family.
He's just touching the heads like, these are mine. I made these.
I put my life force into them every night to keep them alive longer.
Yeah. And I kind of read that as like he's like in there in his like family zone and like trying to think about like, is this really what I want? Is this really what Don Draper is? Am I a family guy or like? Well,
part of me, he like knows, because there's one thing I feel like they definitely showed was like Don knows how to like act around that whoever he's around, he knows what to do around that person to be what they want him to be. And he came home, went directly to his wife, like woke her up, and then was like, don't move. And then he went to the kids' room. I feel like he just like knew, was like, oh, she's going to get up.
So he was still working?
Yeah.
He was trying to be like, oh, like, let's do a nice father moment for my wife.
Yeah.
That's interesting too.
Because, he was looking at the kids. They weren't awake, so he wasn't doing it for the kids. He could be doing it for himself.
Yeah.
But made it pretty.
I mean, we could both be right. Maybe he is working at that point. Maybe he is selling for his wife, but then internally he's going like, "What the fuck am I doing? Like, is this really like what I should be doing?"
I don't think most of what he does is genuine.
Yeah, he's like the John Cena of like the 1960s, constantly working the audience.
No one sees him.
Yeah.
Bum, ba-dum, bum. Yeah,
Man.
nailed it. Any other thoughts on this first step?
I guess so. The only other thing is that Pete Campbell like makes some remarks towards Peggy early in the episode, and she's like disgusted, and then later he's having
After
a
the
bachelor
bachelor
party,
party,
and he's
yeah.
like hammered, and then he goes over to her place.
How does he even know where she lives?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
implied
it's
to
in
me
the
that
file.
Movie
he like creepily
magic.
went back to
He
the office
creeped
to
for
look up her
sure.
address.
Sure.
And he showed up at her apartment hammered, and then like was essentially just like, "I needed to see you," and she's like, "All right, come on in."
Yeah, she was like,
Bone City.
Becky Sue, I'm going to bed. I don't know
Yeah.
what her roommate's name was.
Which like
Yeah.
from this first episode, I really didn't know how to read that, and I think maybe that's
I think she's
intended?
trying to dive in to the ad game.
yeah, like maybe we find out in a few episodes, like, oh, she was trying to work and sell, or like is she kind of into Pete, or does she just feel pressured into like, if I don't like bring this dude in, he's gonna ruin my career, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That felt a little bit like a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like episode 2 could start and they could be like the buzz that like he like woke up at her place, but she'd be just like, he was drunk, he passed out. So nothing actually happened.
Also, if the doctor is writing her a prescription, like she doesn't have it yet, right? Or does she get it later that day?
I don't know. I mean, you can get a prescription later that day today.
Today you can.
But I mean,
Right.
I mean, back then you just got a piece of paper and you just brought it in.
Yeah, like ride your
And like
horse
the
to
pharmacist
pharmacy.
and the pharmacist was like, "Ride your horse." It's the 60s.
It's New York. I mean,
There's
They
like
got
subways
carriages.
and
They got
stuff.
carriages.
But yeah,
What I'm getting at is like, do you think she's on the pill yet?
even if she is on the pill, I mean, it's not a Tylenol. It's not like like
True.
I mean, you know,
Word.
if he threw it in her
Yeah.
right away,
she probably needs a couple days.
probably need to let that ruminate or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like if you put
ferment in there.
if you put an Alka-Seltzer in a glass of water, you still need to wait a couple minutes. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not ready right away.
It's a
What I'm saying
callback to
is,
all the alcohol.
It
seltzer
seems
in
like
the
a
show.
thing that they're selling to the audience, that like she's like getting like prepared to like, you know, get on the pill and like be ready for this world, but like it started too soon and she got pregnant. Like, what if she gets pregnant from this one night with
So
Pete?
episode 2, for sure, a pregnancy scare.
Yeah, looking it up, episode 2 is called Peggy's Pregnant.
It's called Peggy's Baby.
Peggy has a baby. It's 9.5 months later.
Maybe the dingo ate Peggy.
Oh God.
What are we doing? Predictions?
Yes. What do you got, Jimmy?
I got some predictions.
Okay.
I think Pete Jr. is a douche that no one likes. So in one of the little scenes between Don and Pete, when he tells him like, look, Pete, like, you're just like, if you just continue to go on like this, everyone's gonna hate you. And I think that is what happens. I think he's kind of a nobody.
Your prediction is no one likes Pete.
Yeah, but like, and
Nobody
he's not
still likes Pete.
right. Yep. Okay. Number 1, nobody selects Pete. Number 2, I think Roger is like retired, and Don is taking over. It's gonna be Draper and Cooper. I don't know who Cooper is. He's probably dead.
Drooper.
Donald Drooper. Number 3, I think Peggy's gone, dead or gone. I think probably not dead.
Okay.
I don't think that's that kind of show.
Pete,
Maybe.
Well, Pete killed her. That's why no one likes him still.
Maybe she died in pregnancy. You know, pregnancy complications.
The horses stepped on her.
I just think her character probably moves on. You know, they move on from Peggy. Number 4, Sean Astin.
We get a Sean Astin.
Is he in the
as
show?
himself.
Sean Astin is my prediction.
Okay.
I
Could be a
predict
cameo.
Sean Astin.
Bringing it back.
Okay.
All right. I'll go.
It's just been a while for me.
It's been a while.
Too long.
Just want a little Rudy in your life.
Yeah.
I think number 1, I think there's a woman in charge of men.
Okay.
Wrong.
Right?
Incorrect.
I need this show to grow a little bit. I need something positive in the battle of the sexes to happen in the show.
7 seasons. Yeah, maybe.
Number 2, I think Pete versus Don in battling ad agencies.
Okay.
So
I'm
I
into that.
think they're both on
Ooh.
top of their ad agencies and they're like in a
Pepsi
battle.
versus Coke.
Cool.
Yeah. I think Peggy no longer works for in an advertisement.
Okay.
I think she has a new profession, which is somewhat what women aren't doing still these days. So I feel like she's a small business owner.
Okay.
And then my 4th one, I think someone gets shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
What?
I have Don is divorced because I think that's
Mm.
what I take from the end there is that his family life is crumbling. Number 2, Peggy is an ad exec. So like she's kind of like where Don is at in this episode.
I hope you're wrong.
Mm.
We have a flash forward to like the present day. So we see like a
What?
70-year-old Don Draper.
Don's
like,
driving a Tesla at the end.
yeah. He's like watching ads on YouTube and he's like, what the fuck?
He's sharing stupid stuff on Facebook that's clearly not been fact checked.
The last sentence of the show is Don Draper going, "What's an influencer?"
It's just Don just sharing a bunch of stuff that says share if you agree.
Like, share, and subscribe to Don Draper.
Why do I have to watch an ad before I watch a video of an ad? End of episode.
I love flex tape.
Okay. And then I oohed at someone gets shot because my number 4 is Don gets shot.
Oh, dang.
I hope you're right.
You got bullets? Was there going to be like a mafia influence in this?
Hey,
The stakes couldn't be any higher.
someone's Italian, so someone's got a machine gun, right? Or is at least in the mob. Should we do it? Should we watch the last episode?
Okay.
It's called something. All right, we'll see you after that. The last episode of Mad Men.
It's called Mad Men 2015.
Mad Men 2015. Okay, we're back from the finale of Mad Men. Before we went to the last one, I looked up a website and it was about the actor cigarette.
Oh, yeah?
There's like electric actor cigarettes.
E-cigarettes?
Yeah, they're just vapes shaped like cigarettes. That's really what they were.
Huh.
I'm just vaping.
But there's this picture on the website of this really dopey looking dude with a backwards baseball cap, like puffing out some vape nash.
Is that the Limp Bizkit guy?
That is not Fred Durst. I dare say this very rarely, but that Fred Durst is cooler than that guy. So that's not true.
I can't prove you wrong.
I know, right? You got a write up for us, Jim?
Yeah, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Person to person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I get that title.
He kept calling people, and it was like, we want to do a person-to-person connect. They said that term.
Oh, like over the phone.
Mm-hmm. When he called Peggy, it was like, there's a person-to-person connection from like blah blah blah.
All right, it's a person calling a person.
Yeah.
Which is the way that works.
Yep.
That's how you call people. Okay. In the series finale, Don continues his journey, arriving in California where he drops in on Stephanie, his old friend Anna's niece.
Well, that's his niece.
That's his niece?
His old friend Anna's niece.
Oh. I was like, I feel like they banged at one point.
It could have been worded better.
Yeah.
Wait, who banged?
No, I just thought they had.
Oh,
And then you
Don
said it
and
was
all
his
women.
niece, I thought, for a
Don,
second.
Don and women everywhere.
Don
Okay.
and the every woman.
So she drags him out. Stephanie.
Michael and women. It's not related. Go on.
She drags him off to a retreat where he hits rock bottom. Also, she totally did as well, I feel like. A rejuvenated Don, however, comes up with yet another great idea. So that ad has to be his.
Yeah, I did some quick Googling,
co-
and like John Hamm and the writer Matthew Weiner both were like, yeah, he wrote that ad.
Nice.
He went to this retreat, went back and wrote this Coke ad.
Oh, cool.
So
Which
he-
was a real Coke ad,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, really? So so Mad Men's now like a documentary.
Yeah.
It's a documentary this whole
This
time.
happened in real time.
Cool. John Hamm has looked that good in the 60s.
Okay, so in New York, Joan has lunch with Ken with an eye patch and may have a new company and a new career in her future. Peggy and Stan come to a pleasantly shocking realization about their feeling for one another. And Roger and Marie settle into their life together, while Pete and his family head off to Wichita in a company jet. 'Cause he's going to go work for Lear. The Learjet with Allison Brie.
Cool.
Sally is Don's eldest daughter, grows up and considerably and takes over many of her mother's responsibilities. 'Cause she got the cancers,
Lung cancer.
the black lung.
The Luckies strike again, if you know what I mean.
The doctors were right.
They talked about
I
the
guess we learned something.
talked about that cancer-causing cigarette in the first episode, and they stuck it to January in the end.
Bookended it, yeah.
That's the bookend.
His lung
Did she even
cancer.
smoke? Oh yeah, she was smoking in the last
She was
episode.
smoking.
She had full-on lung cancer, was still smoking. That's the thing with lung cancer, is that like it actually has a pretty low incidence rate, but has a very low survival rate as well.
Oh, good,
So
cool.
if you get lung cancer, you're fucked.
It's not funny.
Lol.
Lol.
It's okay. I'll buy you a Coke.
This episode started off with Don Draper like racing in a car, like
the
through the
desert?
desert.
Oh yeah,
It looked-
please let's not.
It looked like Mad Max.
It really did. Like this show really took a turn.
That was the first scene is close up on Don in some sort of racing helmet and goggles.
Yeah. And then when he steps out
In
of the
the
car,
desert.
he's wearing a full denim jacket and jeans, and you're just like, this is a different character. This is a different show.
This is John Draper, his twin brother, the race car denim wearing driver.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, this really like. So I don't know what ad agency Peggy worked for.
Oh yeah,
what-
it's not.
It wasn't Sterling Cooper.
It's not Sterling
Was
Cooper
it?
anymore.
Well,
it's
but
a
like
new one.
Pete was there, right?
Pete was there but then he
Was
was
leaving.
leaving to go to Lear.
Yeah,
Roger was working there.
yeah.
I think it was like slightly different, but I think it had a lot of the same players.
Okay,
And obviously, like
maybe that got acquired or
Don-
something.
It
worked
was
for
another
them.
two name. McCann Erickson.
Oh,
okay, and Don obviously worked for them,
uh-huh.
but had just like left,
He's just gone off the map.
and people were like,
And
"What
he's
the
in
fuck?"
California,
Yeah,
doing some hippie shit.
yeah,
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
weird.
banging his niece or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
we,
the Canary from the CW network.
Yep.
I feel like we glazed over the Coke thing, but like the very last shot of the episode, or the second to last shot, is like Don meditating and smiling because he's at this hippie retreat, and then the last shot is like they play the like famous Coke ad where it's a bunch of hippies singing like "I'd like to buy the world a Coke" and like we'll live in peace and Coke's great. And so what they are implying is that Don like went back to work and like wrote this Coke ad based on like what he had done on his retreat. And Coke, I guess, was like a big deal. Like it would have been like his biggest like client.
I mean, Coke's a pretty big deal.
Coke would
Mhm.
still now be your biggest client.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in real life, that's like considered like one of like the greatest ads of all time.
That is
Yeah.
why.
I don't know. I mean, like the
It
song
was probably
a
a big
hit.
deal at the time.
The timing.
Yeah, I mean, it just co-opted like the counterculture of the time, and then,
Could you imagine if like that ad hadn't happened then, and it was like a Super Bowl ad like
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago?
Well, like
and
these
it-
days are like too cynical to like buy into that shit. Like,
Hmm.
they,
I mean-
like, had a Coke ad with like.
Coke is delicious.
I would drink a Coke right now if it were offered to me.
Yeah,
Sure.
someone handed me a Coke, and I would share a Coke with the world. Everybody listening right now, go to your fridge and open a Coke. We'll wait.
Yeah, just have a sip on that.
Have a sip of Coke with us. Everybody. That was a real can, not my. Yeah. We've all
just gonna-
drank Coke together.
Pour some Coke into this microphone. Let you guys sip on that.
Just
Oh.
Yeah, that would without that ad at the end, or like kind of, I was like, did he just join a cult? And it's
Yeah,
just like not going back and is done. And like, what the hell? Like that lady Stephanie or
Stephanie
whatever,
just left.
she just flipped
just
out
left,
and
yeah.
left,
She
and there
gone.
was no.
She gone.
I mean,
she gone.
oops. I mean, I don't know her. What anything that happened between him and her throughout any of the season.
No idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that freak out was like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it seemed a little
She's
out
going
of
home.
seemed a little like abrupt
Uh-huh.
from what she was
Mhm.
acting like at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
She was like, "We're gonna go here, just have
She
fun
was
with it."
faced with some hard truth, I think.
Yeah.
Seemed like she had a baby and wasn't around it, and that Angie bitch in that meeting. There was a,
Yeah,
she
because they have a
called
lot of
her
like
out.
group therapy meetings where they talk about their feelings and stuff.
Yeah. And there was a lady named Angie in it, and she was like, "I feel like if I was your kid, you'd make me sad forever."
Yeah.
And then Stephanie got sad and then
She
left.
didn't like that.
So maybe that was like maybe that was maybe she just maybe she went home and went to her baby and became mom.
Yeah. I mean, and
Who's
maybe
to say?
maybe that's what they're trying to imply that Don learns is like you go on this thing, but eventually you just got to go home and deal with your shit.
Well, I mean, he called
That'd be
Peggy,
a good thing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I think, when he was in his deepest hole or whatever,
Yeah.
his saddest point. She was just like, "Just come
The
home."
devil's butthole.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a Coke ad, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
I
he-
mean, that's the
instead-
implication is that he went out and did this totally non-Don Draper thing, and in the end he goes back to just being Don Draper.
Well,
right?
I don't even know
Mm.
because I mean, from what people were saying, like that other guy,
Mhm.
one of the other guys at the ad agency, he was like, "Oh, Don called," and she's like, "Yeah," and he sounded crazy, and she was, and he was like, "This is just what he does.
Like, yeah,
he
he'll be
just
back. It's
leaves
fine."
and disappears, and then he just comes back."
Uh-huh.
So I don't even know if this is like
Out of the ordinary. for
even
Don.
out of the ordinary. It was just
Yeah.
it was just another like
Yeah.
2 weeks for Don Draper.
He
Again.
just goes and finds himself every once in a while.
He just like
Just
kicks
can't-
ass at being an advertisement guy.
Yeah.
And then just goes like fuck it and just leaves for a while.
Mhm.
And then he just shows back up and goes, "Got an ad." You know?
Got the idea.
Got the idea. I mean,
Everyone get out of
He's-
my way.
He sits down at a piano and he's like starting to play the chords.
it is all like based on what
Dayman.
that guy said, and then like what the Coke ad in the end implies.
Mhm.
Kind of doesn't seem like it's like a growth or like a, like they didn't buy a new house and are about to move at the end of the sitcom
Uh-huh.
or do something different. It just maybe seems like he's just doing it all. It's like,
He's-
yep,
yeah.
this is just a cyclical thing for
He's
him.
still the same guy from the first episode who like thinks that love is just the thing to sell you products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what I just worked through
Hmm.
this group therapy that we're doing right now.
Talking it out.
Talking it out, guys. Talking it out.
We're all gonna hug after this.
Cool. Haven't been touched in a while.
Up in, oh God, what? Like good or bad?
You decide.
No, I don't decide that. That's not what I think up until I just worked that all out, I didn't really like this episode very much,
Uh-huh.
Mm.
and then I kind of worked
Interesting.
the different parts together. And if
A lot of the rest of the episode was a lot of just like in between characters, just like figuring things out between each other. There's like a lot of like shots where it's just two characters having a talk and like sort of like smiling at each other.
But a lot of the other characters
Yeah.
seemed like they did resolve stuff. Like that
Yeah.
Joan lady
Yeah.
seemed like she was starting a new business.
Uh-huh.
I mean, apparently her like relationship ended, and that's not good. Like,
yeah, she
yeah,
was in a relationship
But like
with an old man.
that guy was like a dick face. If he was like, "Oh, you're gonna start a new business," well, bye.
Yeah.
Like, screw you, dude.
But it seems like
Yeah,
her
he was an
ex,
old retired man.
like came back and made amends about their son or something, and that's where they talked and smiled.
That was Roger, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, and then so he made amends with his
Oh,
son,
yeah.
which made amends with like Joan. Joan
Yeah.
got started a new business. Roger left with
With
a
his
French
new
lady,
yeah.
and like moved somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Peggy found
possibly
love
France.
Peggy found
Possible.
love with a coworker.
with a coworker.
Yeah,
and did that.
70s Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
And Pete got a Learjet
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
with
he-
Allison Brie,
with Alison
who
Brie.
had no lines.
And
Just
Sally Draper's doing dishes while
Sally's
while
Sally
Betty
didn't- Sally
is
didn't get
dying.
really a good version, but yeah, she like she at least became like it's like becoming the matriarch,
yeah,
you know.
just kind of making toast for her little brother or
Yeah.
something.
So she's doing that,
Yeah.
and so it's like almost everybody is kind of like,
You think those kids are trying to make a grilled cheese?
yeah, I think that's what that kid was
Sally-
trying to do.
Sally came home to, like,
Oh.
Her younger
That
brother
makes
and like
sense.
another kid. That wasn't her.
I
two
think that was
brothers,
her littler brother.
right? Okay, so her
Yeah.
two younger brothers, and the one brother was trying to scrape off like burnt toast from a pan or
Just-
from a,
Just a butter
Yeah.
knife
Tray?
to like,
Like
a
a
black
baking sheet.
and then the other kid was just like unwrapping Kraft singles.
just a plate full of Kraft singles.
And like in my head, I'm just like, are they
Just a
are they
stack.
trying to make grilled cheese, but just totally fucked it up?
Yeah.
She's like, it smells like fire in here.
Yeah, it was pretty like, what is? I
Sally
mean,
was one of my favorite people in this episode.
isn't that
for
what
sure.
you think of like when you like go, hey, little children, make food? Like,
It's like, oh, it's two hot pieces of bread
I've
and then
seen
some cheese.
I've seen mom make grilled cheese before. I can do it. And he like tried, and it was like totally failed. It's exactly the outcome I would expect like little boys to
But
like.
you would
do.
think they would try to figure out to put the bread and cheese together and then heat it up.
I don't know. Maybe they thought they just made the bread really hot and then put the cheese in it.
That seemed like that
And it
was the
worked.
plan. Yeah.
like they sort of know how mom did it, but they've never really paid attention because the
They know
finished product
hot
is
bread, cheese.
hot bread cheese. No
You
butter.
The other steps, it's anyone's game. You know.
The other step is eat, and they know that one
Yeah.
already. You know.
You guys ever done a grilled cheese with like, because typically you do a grilled cheese where you like butter the outside and like, grill
Yeah.
that cheese. Have you ever done it with mayo instead of butter?
No. It
It's-
sounds
What?
awful.
It's interesting.
Is this
Why
similar
would
to?
you use mayo instead of butter?
Because it's got, it's a,
It's a fat.
It's
but
a
it's like
fat-
a dairy.
but yeah, and it's also
Just
got
like
like,
a curdled dairy on your.
well, no, it's also
hot
got like
bread.
egg in it. Yeah, the egg is what kind of makes the difference between like a butter
Ah.
and it just like kind of gives you like a French toast grilled cheese feel.
Is this like that time when you
Hmm.
told me to like toast bread, cut hot dogs,
Cut
in,
hot dogs in
half,
half,
and then
yeah.
like put like mayo or something on
No,
it?
that was like a childhood thing. This like grilled cheese mayo thing, that's like someone told me about it like a couple months ago.
Have you done it?
I did it once like a couple weeks ago.
And
It was crazy. It tasted kind of salty, which is kind of weird.
I saw like a grilled cheese. I thought about grilled cheese the other day. I want a grilled cheese.
It definitely doesn't taste like mayo
would
on
eat
the
it.
outside.
I
It
would eat
tastes
a
like
cheese.
I mean,
you
is
did
it a
something
good
to the
grilled
bread.
cheese after you make it?
I mean, it was crispy and good. Yeah, it was rich.
Okay.
It came off a little salty. I don't know if that's normal.
Maybe
or
a
if it's-
light, maybe a lighter mayo,
Yeah.
a low sodium.
What kind of did you use Miracle Whip or
Interesting.
like a Hellman's?
It was a
What
Hellman's.
kinda
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
probably.
more of a
might be
Miracle
little-
Whip kind of guy.
Ooh.
I mean, that's not mayo though. That's Miracle Whip.
I like Miracle Whip and mayonnaise.
Same, but they're different things.
I know, but would I not be able to use Miracle Whip for this scenario?
Oh, I feel like you're just taking it to another level.
Chef Joe. Come on, man.
That's a different podcast.
All right.
Getting into a whole other stuff here.
Fair enough.
Should we do some tallying?
What are you telling me?
Oh, well, nothing
Oh,
for me
points.
because I got 0
Oh.
points for which to tally. Pete, apparently everyone just likes now. He's just,
Yeah,
he's
he
just
seems
apparently
like a delightful guy.
He's just a very nice man
He's got a decent haircut.
with a funky. Yeah,
He's got a weird haircut. That's a weird haircut.
He's like trying to hide
He's
his
got
thinning
sideburns.
hairline. It's very strange, and everyone just loves him, and he was just very cordial and nice.
Yeah, the one person you would think to be like, I don't fuck with Pete, was Peggy, and like they had like a nice conversation, smiled at each other.
Yeah, she seemed like she was a fan.
Yeah.
Number 2, I said Roger is retired. I did say that Don was taking over, but I said Roger's retired.
Yeah.
Have a point?
I don't know.
I mean, he was at work at the beginning of this episode. And he was... Did he retire? I don't know. Fuck, give it here. Have a point. I don't care.
He's in like Italy or some shit. I don't know.
He's speaking French. He was
Oh,
not
yeah.
in Italy.
Because everyone that speaks French doesn't work, Jimmy.
He was just in Canada.
He was... Oh, it could have been in Canada. They
in
did talk
Montreal.
about Canada. Number 3, Peggy is gone. I was very wrong about Peggy. I remembered later thinking, when I asked you guys if you guys watch Handmaid's Tale, because I was like, oh yeah, she's a really, really good actor.
Mhm.
There's no way they got rid of her.
Yeah, she was a big deal. Seemed like
Yeah. She was like half of this show.
Peg.
She was a solid percentage of the show. And she's great in Handmaid's Tale. You should watch that. Number 4, Sean Astin.
No.
So a solid 0.5.
I thought that people hating Pete was going to be like a home run. I actually thought that was kind of a weak prediction, but
I mean, yeah.
turns out you were wrong.
Pete versus Don in a battling ad agencies didn't work. They worked for the same ad agency, it seems. There's women in charge of men. Not really.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not at
the-
least
There are
in
women
this
in charge
scenario.
of things.
But not men.
That one lady who was a total bitch to Peggy and Stan at the beginning when
It seemed like she was kind of in charge.
she was
are you talking about?
was a boss. She was handing out. She was telling
The
who
assignments.
was on what
Yeah,
account.
she was a manager of some sorts.
She
Yeah.
was definitely higher than Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Peggy's not a man.
But
Yeah.
she seemed at the same
But
level.
Stan
as
is a
the
man.
Stan.
All right, 1 point. I'll take it.
Might be the man.
I'm gonna take that point.
I definitely don't think at the beginning of this show we would have seen that.
No, for sure.
No.
Obviously the Pete versus Don isn't happening. Peggy has a new profession. Oh, so close. She almost went into that producing profession.
Yeah.
Do you think she
but
did
I think
or
her
didn't?
job now, she's not a secretary like she was in the beginning, right?
No,
she's some sort of ad writer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's an ad writer.
Yeah.
All right, she does have a new profession.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take it. No one got shot though.
No one got shot, no.
I was really banking on one of those hippies to shoot one of those other hippies.
They did make a Charlie Manson reference.
Yeah, that was great.
I had Don is divorced, which I don't know that we confirmed.
He is divorced.
Okay. You just know that.
I just know that.
Okay.
Well, because they made a reference to that lady that Roger was like getting with.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear him say like that's
Marie?
Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear him? He was talking to Joan.
Mm-hmm.
When he was like
Joan's mom.
when he was with Joan and he was like let's give this boy money
Yeah.
when I die. He's like yeah, it's Megan Draper's. He's like it's Megan Draper's mom. He goes, Megan Draper is Don Draper's second wife in the show.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Cool.
Hmm.
Divorced.
So I mean, maybe January Jones and John Hammer got back together at some point.
Mhm.
They definitely got divorced.
Okay.
So yeah.
I have Peggy as an ad exec, which I don't know that it didn't seem like she's pitching ads, but she works.
She's definitely like a writer of
Yeah.
something.
Like she's definitely part of the process, but I don't think she's quite like Don
Mhm.
is in the beginning. So I'm gonna say not a point for that.
Okay.
No flash forward to the present day,
No Tesla driving.
and Don doesn't get shot.
No. he does
So
not.
a point for Don is divorced. Divorced Don, or Dick, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I don't remember that whole part.
Hmm.
Don's not his real name.
Yeah.
Don's some dude that died in a war, I think.
Yeah, spoiler.
Well, I mean, we
And
watched
he-
the last
Don's-
episode.
and he's got his purple heart.
Yeah.
Actually, he probably was injured. The real Donna probably killed.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it
Ah,
I
he
think
Probably
it
that makes
earned that
sense, yeah.
purple heart.
yeah,
You
potentially.
don't get a purple heart if you're dead, right?
I don't know how it works.
Posthumous.
Like I think there's a
Purple
different
Heart.
like medal for if
different
you actually
honor.
die.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pearl Heart's being like injured in battle, doing something heroic, probably. Anybody interested? Anyone watching the show?
Yeah,
Joe?
I mean,
Joe, how do you feel about this?
from the first episode, I was really intrigued and like just the thought of the workplace drama aspect of it seemed intriguing to me. Of like these dudes trying to vie for like their position in the ad company, Don versus Pete type stuff.
Right. I really like the first episode of like when they're in meetings and they're trying to do the pitches and they're being crazy. You know, it's like it's one of those like the first episode of the show shows like how it's kind of like an infuriating show where like these men are being jerks and you just want like the ladies to win, to like get a win, and you want to like just watch these bad people do bad things because you're like, God, just be a human, be a nice human. And like it's like maddening, but it's like entertaining.
Maddening men.
And then but then yeah, you get to see them like, oh, we're gonna do they did Lucky Strikes in the first one. You're like, oh, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
And then they say it's toasted. And then you watch a bunch of people be impressed by the silly 2-word thing.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of a toasted cigarette. That
But I
sounds
like,
great.
yeah, but I like those meetings where they like present their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that office jam. If Mad Men was just them in the office doing all that shenanigans
Pitch and shit.
the whole time.
I'm into it.
Yeah. The pitches. It's pretty good. It kind of made me want to like, maybe I should like try to watch this first season again. But if it goes into the like weird like Mad Max Don Draper, I don't know about that. That part was
Yeah,
weird.
that could be fun.
I
think it probably gets
interested.
weird once it gets into the 70s.
Yeah, potentially. I'm like less interested in like Don going away and like being like finding himself and being like that. I'm more interested in the office stuff.
Yeah. I'm also not very interested, and you might not be surprised by like who's boning who. And, like,
What?
is Pete getting with Peggy, and not so much as interested in that stuff.
Yeah, I mean that part of the first episode, like I didn't
as
even
much into
yeah,
the booby tassels.
I didn't really care about that either.
Yeah.
The booby tassels were great,
That was pretty fun.
but the Pete
Speaking of
going
which,
over.
Purple Heart does get handed out posthumously to the next of kin for if you're killed in action
Noted.
or die of your wounds.
So he
from
could have
action.
taken that from the actual Don Draper.
Yeah, you could have. You had to have been shot or whatever by an instrument of war that was in the hands of the enemy. That's like the.
You probably don't get a. I mean, you probably don't
If
get
it's
a
friendly fire, you just got killed.
If the guy behind you shot you because he was trying to shoot the guy
he's
in
just
front
an
of
idiot.
you don't get a Purple Heart. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Which I feel like happens
Oh,
quite
yeah,
a bit.
it's definitely
Maybe that's a different medal.
Yeah, you just get to haunt the person that shot you for the rest of their life. Shit, you shot me.
Even if like you didn't die right away.
Oh, too bad. Cool. Well, hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of First and Last. We appreciate you. There's 2 more episodes in season 3 before we do the first and last season.
Oh man.
Me and Joe's
Yeah,
shows,
tough.
we get a pick, so we got to make them good.
I've not had.
Don't screw this up.
Don't screw it up,
Like
Joe.
last ones I picked were like Cougar Town.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah,
I don't know
Joe,
what
this is
else.
your warning.
Not good shows.
I didn't even show up for those.
don't pick another Cougar Town, okay?
I'm trying so hard.
At least if it's gonna be a bad show, make it so bad it's like ridiculous, not just so
like a
bad.
Jersey Shore.
Not
So
Picked
bad,
that.
it's just
Yeah,
upsetting.
exactly. At least we had a lot to say about
Jersey Shore is my peak.
I
really.
watched all of Jersey Shore.
all of it.
Yeah,
All of the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Oh my
The whole
gosh.
shore.
I heard
The
the
best
whole
shape of your
show.
life.
Polly Shore.
Yeah, GTL
How many seasons of Jersey Shore? How
6
many
or 7.
episodes? Nice.
6 or 7.
Who picked that? You, Joe?
Joe
Yeah.
did.
Nice.
Mhm.
It was great.
Hmm.
I watched 3 full shows
That might be the only show someone in this season has like watched all of.
in the 75 episodes of this podcast that we've done. I've watched 3 full TV shows, and it's been Frasier, Malcolm in the Middle, and Jersey Shore.
Yeah. I still haven't finished Frasier.
Joe's
I can't believe that.
dang. You son of a bitch.
It's pretty sickening, Joe. Well, hey, if you guys want to do a show suggestion, give Joe a compliment, or tell him to keep watching more Frasier, you can hit us up at FNL Podcast on Twitter, Gmail, Facebook, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're listening to this on some sort of app or something and there's a starable rating, smack those stars down.
Max stars.
Max,
Shoot those stars.
hit max star. Hit the button that says max star rating. That'd be great. It'll help us out a lot. But until then, we'll see you next week. And, just don't be like Don Draper.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.